welcome back to the, well, we're still doing the Z because I got to get it out of here. But I got a nice little challenge I'm setting up for myself. Is my goal is to get this disassembled to what I need to put on that motor, which I'll show you guys here in a second. At the very least, get the motor back in the car within the time that I have. So it's going to be about 3 days. They're not real days, okay? I work a day job. I got kids. I got a soon-to-be wife. Look, I got a pretty crazy busy life. So I'm going to make use of every little bit of free time that I have. And if you haven't seen it already, we did end up getting a motor for it. This was a $300 motor, mechanically good, supposedly. Might be a little far away from y'all, but we do have the fuel rails, injectors, the intake, some hoses, some little knickknacks here and there, accessories, stuff like that we do got to transfer over from this motor to this motor. My goal by tonight is to get this one on the stand at the very least. So let's speed run through this. All right, so we got these 10 millimeters or 12. I don't know. You're gonna need a 10, you're gonna need 12. You're gonna need yourself a pair of pliers. I'm just gonna take this hose off from the bottom. So when we take the plenum off, it'll just come up. Same with this hose down here. Get your pliers. Pull this one up, so the plenum just comes up with it. With this connection to the fuel rail here, this is the main one, so we're just gonna unbolt that, just so it's free, because this is already free, connected to the plenum, and we'll just, once again, so it comes up with it. We don't have to take a lot off. The goal is to take this, drop it onto that, and then underneath there, the fuel rails, which I'll get to once we get all this off. Real quick, let's talk about tools you'll actually need. Engine stand, engine hoist, flathead, 12 millimeter ratchet, 10 millimeter. You kind of want a long ratchet too for the leverage, extension, and a pair of pliers. All in all, I guess a DIY setup would still cost you quite a bit of money, but thankfully this ain't exactly a DIY channel. I'll be real with you. I encourage people to spend money. I'm really great with money, believe it or not, but I really do have the mindset of like, yeah, you'll make it back. All right, so it turns out that with this intake, the top plenum does have to come out. Once you take the top piece off here though, there's these 6 10 millimeter bolts that you gotta unhook, and then the 2 on the outside, and this comes off. But check this out. I actually do need to turn this light on. We do have a pool of oil on that side and a pool of oil on that side. So we're gonna clean this before we hook it up to the new motor. All right, so we have the whole top plenum off. We have the intake manifold right here. What we need to get off now is this 10 millimeter bolt. These are all 12s. There is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 12 millimeter bolts holding the intake manifold on. The only reason why we're taking this off is because that motor does not have the sub harness that this one has for the knock sensor and everything else. We have to pull this off in order to get this out, and we're gonna have to do the same on that. But we are going to do that, and then that's pretty much it, really. It's just the intake that's missing on that, or the harness and everything, and then everything else that I already have taken off. So I'm gonna knock all that out, speed run through this, get that one on, and we'll move on there. And then we'll do the leak down test, the full leak down test. All right, so I didn't quite meet my goal tonight like I wanted. It is what it is. However, we do have the motor on, the new motor on the stand. There's some things I want to show you before I get out of here, but the next clip, next video that you see, it'll be tomorrow for me. We'll have the oil drain, we'll get the pan off, we'll get all that inspected, cleaned up, RTV at rear main, leak down tests. That's still going to be in this video. I did realize there's some parts that we do got to transfer. I don't know if you guys can see it from right there. This line is bent. I noticed that it was like way up here, and I was like, what? And I see it's kinked right there. I'm like, okay, that one is not. So we'll just swap those around. I also just now noticed the power steering pump is broken. So this did come out of a wrecked car. That's okay. We have spare parts, luckily. So I'll pick this up tomorrow. But for you guys, right now, it's a new day, but not for y'all. Check this out. Look how clean, just this alone is already telling me that I don't need to dig deeper into this. And I cleaned all this gunk up just because it's been sitting. There's been no indications of any leaks or anything like that. So I'm not going to do, you know, more work than what's needed. This right here, I took a scope and got in here and everything. I mean, everything is squeaky clean. So green flags all the way around. Alrighty, so I have all the parts swapped over. It is currently a third day. This is not going in the car, unfortunately. We have all the parts that needed to be swapped over. This thing is pretty much ready to go in. I'm gonna show you guys the leak down test. I haven't gotten to this side. I'm not really confident. I'll explain why, but I'm expecting the same numbers I'm getting over there on this side as well. We'll see, but it's not looking good. So real quick, the way to do a leak down test properly is to get whatever cylinder you're testing, get it on the compression stroke, get it to top dead center, hook this hose into the spark plug hole, and then this gauge will tell you the PSI from your air compressor and then the amount of PSI that it's holding. And a good reading is within 10% of this. So if this is at 100, this should be at 100 or 10%, so 90, right? I'm about to show you guys in just a second. So we can see here, it dropped down to like 90, but you can see that it doesn't really matter because we're leaking well over 50%, right? Which is not good. The other ones were worse. This was leaking nearly 80%. That one was leaking like 70%. Some super bad, super unfortunate news. Hopefully it could be a stuck lifter or something as such. I don't know. I feel like every time I've done, or at least how I've learned how to do leak down tests, it's always best when the motor has been warmed up, because that's when, you know, heat expands, all that. So that's when you're going to get an actual seal. So when the motor has been sitting for a while and is cooled and everything like that, it's kind of expected to not seal, you know, properly. But again, that could be me just trying to be delusional right now and thinking, fuck, you know, like maybe that is the thing and I'm just, you know, worrying about nothing. I'm feeling really defeated, and that's going to conclude this video, I guess, because this ain't going to be going in the car regardless, even if I had it ready to go tonight, because we have to do a little bit more digging now to find out why it's that low. So I'm going to go eat some cookies and drink some milk because I'm now sad, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a good night. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.